In Britain, the Cheddar Pink is confined to a few limey cliffs in and around Cheddar Gorge. It's a simply beautiful bloom. It's Somerset's county flower and is also one of the Mendip Hills National Landscape's champion species.
These are a small select suite of 8 key species which thrive in quality habitats. These canaries in a coal mine are a good measure of environmental conditions and help by both driving conservation initiatives and raising awareness of the habitats in which they live. Surely one of our most attractive rarities, this perennial member of the pink family possesses a grey-green stem and leaves topped with a single rose-pink flower. Each petal has both a hairy base and a distinctively toothed margin, while the blooms are also delightfully scented. The population of cheddar pinks in and around the gorge are also very isolated from their continental cousins. Helena Crouch is the Vice County Botanical Recorder for North Somerset and a member of the Somerset Rare Plants Group.
The Mendips is an incredible area for plants, and that's because of the geology. The Mendips is basically great lumps of limestone, and everyone thinks it's just limestone. But actually, on the higher points of the Mendips are an anticline, the ground has risen, and the tops of the Mendips have worn off, which exposes the old red sandstone, which is Devonian, so older than the Carboniferous limestone. So the highest rocks are the older ones, which always seems upside down, and those are acidic. So the tops of the Mendips have these acid patches. Now, during the last ice age, the ice sheet only reached the M4. It didn't reach Somerset, but we would have been in periglacial conditions here with really strong winds, and the glacial flour that was created as the ice scraped across the ground would have been blown and has lodged on the Mendips. So that creates different soils, and those are acidic as well. So you can stand on the Mendips and be on limestone grassland in 1 centimetre and on heathland in the next. So very varied geology. And then of course it's very varied topologically. There's north-facing sides of hills, steep south-facing sides. The hydrology is varied, and that just means there's an amazing diversity of plants on the Mendips. Cheddar Pink likes very thin soils, so you find it growing on kind of the soil-rock interface on the edges of cliffs. So there's one here, a little patch going along the edge of the top of the cliff here, on the thin soil, because it can't cope with any waterlogging at all. It likes to be free drained, so the thin limestone soils are very free drained. It usually prefers a south-facing aspect, but actually here we're more or less north-facing, but we're very open, so I think an open aspect, unshaded, is best.
So how isolated are the Mendip Hills cheddar pinks?
The distribution is so interesting, because cheddar pink here in Cheddar is an isolated set of populations. You have to go a long way down into Europe to find the next populations. Its centre of distribution is really the Jura mountains of France, Switzerland, Germany. Ours is the furthest away from the central area of distribution. So that means that genetically our populations are interesting as well, because they've been isolated a very long time. So important from a scientific and genetic point of view.
Now classified as vulnerable by the IUCN, or International Union for the Conservation of Nature, why has the plant historically declined, and what threats continue to this day?
Distant past, I would say that collecting and picking would have been a big reason for a decline. But nowadays people don't pick it. It's actually a Schedule 8 species, so it would be illegal to pick it. In some places trampling will be an issue, because it does grow on the very popular, well-used paths around the cliff edges. More recently, a major threat has been scrub encroachment. If you look at old postcards of Cheddar Gorge, they're completely bare of trees, very heavily grazed, lots of rocky outcrops. And then during the 20th century, grazing declined and scrub grew up against the rock phases, trees grew, and cheddar pink suffered dramatically then. Looking forwards, I think we have to consider nitrogen deposition as being a potential threat.
Nitrogen deposition is the release of nitrogen-based compounds as a byproduct from both fossil fuel use and intensive agriculture. When released into the biosphere, They tend to act as a fertiliser for the faster-growing cosmopolitan species like cow parsley and nettle.
So the Mendips are very geologically diverse, and there are areas with heavy metal enrichment due to mining, and those have got particular plants which only grow here on the Mendips, and on the Mendips only on the former lead mining sites. So two examples of those are the alpine pennycress and spring sandwort. And there are other plants for which the Mendips are very much a stronghold. Purple gromwell would be one of those. That's a really beautiful plant.
And plants such as herb paris and autumn ladies' tresses. How can we all help to ensure the Mendip Hills continue as Britain's remaining stronghold for the fabulous Cheddar Pink?
So everybody can help with the conservation of Cheddar Pink. Landowners can help by appropriate conservation management, particularly clearing scrub away from rock phases, keeping them clear. Visitors can help by, first of all, of course, not picking any, and not trampling on it, not sitting on it for your picnic, if you can avoid it, and by appreciating it and spreading the word and telling other people how wonderful Cheddar Pink is as well. Recorders like me can help by making very detailed records of exactly where it grows, which then can inform the landowners and the conservation bodies so that they can direct their conservation efforts to the most precious sites.
If you're keen to find out more, then join the Somerset Rare Plants group, who run a whole raft of field events throughout spring and summer, both across Mendip and further afield.
It's just so beautiful. In the winter, you probably walk past Cheddar Pink as possibly grass. The leaves don't look much, but as soon as it flowers, it is just amazing. These lovely pink flowers, and even better, the scent is fantastic. They're clove scented. Gardeners appreciate the clove scented pinks, the old-fashioned English pinks, and that clove scent has come from the Cheddar Pink that people have collected and bred from in the past. So it's just an outstanding Mendip plant.